Okay guys, it's been 7 months. Can you believe that, since the tornado has hit my home and in my area? What I'm going to be doing today is taking you through a friend of mine's house that I'm helping them rebuild from the tornado. The best part is that it's so close, I get to drive my side-by-side to the job site, keeping miles off my truck and putting them on this little booger. There are a lot of issues that I've learned when you're dealing with these tornado houses, and I'm going to take you through some of the issues and hassles that I had to go through to get this house through permits and ready to start construction. This home over my shoulder, they had approached me to rebuild their house. And after we got into it, they've lived there for quite a while. We started the design process. The insurance company came in, gave them some money. They decided that's enough money. We'll just keep the house as is, leave it as a foundation. And they took the money, bought a house in town. So I did not get a build job. Okay guys, so the first problem they had with this house is that it was only a 2-car garage. Here's a 6,000 or 7,000 square foot home, 2-car garage. That's what you call functional obsolescence. That's not good. What's better than a 2-car garage? A 3. What's better than a 3-car garage? A 4, right? You guys get it. So you can see half the house, this is all made out of trusses. So we had engineers come through. The insurance brought their own, we brought our own. We want to make sure that this roof is structurally sound. So we've done that. But it looks even worse than the tornado hit, because I had to have Eugenio come in here, and there's lots of video of him. He had to take everything off. So it actually is getting worse before it gets better. I need to make a phone call to Eugenio for leaving, which is probably my hammer in the dirt. Now look how rusted it is. He's gonna hear about this. Let's see if we can get down in there without too much muck and mud.
I think you could go there.
Maybe there and jump down, yeah.
I'm gonna get back up, that's another question.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna include your jump.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. Oh boy, wasn't that graceful? So where I'm standing on is the new garage. This house, the problem of us, when you come up the hill, it's a beautiful drive, and then you pop and see nothing but garage doors in this huge side of the house with hardly any windows. We're fixing that, moving the garages around to this side. So this is going to be the 3-car garage, and where the 2-car garage was is going to be an additional kitchen and a side porch, giving us a much more curb appeal as you approach the home. The important thing is we don't want to make it look like that's the front door. So it's very understated. It's a porch, so it does not recognize as a front entry. So you'll make your way around the circular drive into the house. And the garages in the country need to be pretty big because everybody drives pickup trucks. But because you're in the country, they have a big barn down here. It doesn't need to be a place for storage. It's just gonna be a big garage. So guys, why this looks so bad, there's a reason for it. Because we're waiting for Alex, the framer, to start, and we're getting into now winter conditions, all that siding, which is not siding, that's all been taken off. It's called OSB. It's the wood on there that protects the house. And then we insulate from the inside, but then siding and a Tyvek wrap will go over it. We're gonna do something different. We're gonna use the green zip wall. We do not need to use the Tyvek wrap. That's what the homeowner wants to use this time. All that's coming off. We're gonna get all new shingles, but we're leaving this on for now to protect the house as much as possible before we start framing. So the next step right now is we have a footings in for the garage, get the foundation set, and then we can start bringing the framers back in. We've already ordered new windows, and I'll show you some of that. We're changing them out, making some a little bit bigger. A lot of people miss on these homes. They have 9-foot ceilings, but they have 6'8" doors. That's a standard door height. I like to go 8 foot. Because they have a 9-foot ceiling, we can go 8-foot tall doors, and that makes the house feel so much bigger, grander, and the windows get taller as well. You always match your window heights with your door heights. Okay, originally the front door was right here, and that's where I'm standing. We're going to build a front porch over all that, and because the front door now is going to be an office, we now have this grand entry looking, and this new, there's a new addition. The yellow is all the new stuff that we have to build, and I had to identify that with the city. When you pulled up, you now see a big window, see part of the garage, a porch. There's the new screened-in porch. That was a 2-car garage right there, and that was it. So this is a lot to look at, but I had to highlight for the city so they knew what I am going to have to rebuild. I'm putting a new porch on, a new garage, and literally a new pantry is what's going on. And all this got blown off in the storm, their covered porch and screen porch. So Here is where the 2-car garage was, all right? And this is all new. This was a 2-car garage, so this pantry is the big hot button for the homeowner. It's massive. It's bigger than most people's kitchens. But adding this porch, when you drive up, it's got some wonderful views as well out of the house. But when you drive up, then you'll come around to the front door. And this huge, here's the big grand entry looking all the way through. And that was the front door. Now it's an office, which is the perfect size. Since my homeowner has a lot of equipment, which includes that excavator, and he's really good at it, his wife said, why don't you start that thing up and dig me a hole right here, because she wants a window in her exercise room that's in the basement. He started digging out. Come to find out, we got everything in the way. We've got water to the house, we've got cable to the house, we got power to the house. Everything is in the way where the window well is, but that's not stopping us, because if the wife is happy, everybody's happy. And we're gonna start off on a good note. So I got a question for you guys. Do you think the tornado did this damage, or did Eugenio do it when he removed it from the house? He's notorious for taking stuff off job sites, and this probably did not fit in his van, so he probably didn't care if it broke. Here is the back of the house, and it looks probably just as bad as the front of the house. Remember, we had to tear all the windows out. We got it boarded up because we're waiting for that product to come in. The deck went all the way across the whole back of the house, and the homeowner realized, and I pointed out to them, do you use the entire deck? And people don't, but that's a wasted expense. So keep that in mind when you're building a deck. It's like a living room, or it's a place to go. So we're gonna have a covered porch, which they had before. We're gonna make it even a little bit bigger, but we're gonna add a screened-in porch patio on that side of the house. And in doing so, there was a keystone wall that went all the way across. That all has been removed. We're trying to bring this house into 2025. We don't use a lot of those keystone walls. It's a poured foundation is what we're going to do. Then we can add stone to it. It'll be a much better looking retaining wall. Plus, believe it or not, they cost less than those block walls. So do your homework and do some pricing before you spend a bunch of money on keystone. And there's a chance the homeowner might have me paint that. Let me know what you guys think, because of the color of the house is going to be, I'm not quite sure yet. We have some colors. It's a lighter color, but that red, brown, whatever color that wall is, does not work with the new colors on the house. So we're going to try, see if we can paint it. Let me know if you've painted keystone walls before, if it works or not. So that'll save me a headache if you can give me a shortcut. You guys ready for this? Come on in. It's awful dark because everything's boarded up. We had Eugenio working in here for, I guess, a month and a half. We have taken all the drywall out, all the insulation out. We've taken all the windows out. We even tried to get the fireplace out, but that thing weighs like 1,200 pounds. So if you want it, come and get it. We got to get it out of here somehow, because all those are going out. The water just constantly ran inside this house after the tornado had hit. We had record rains for the next 45 days. So with no roof and broken windows, all it did was rain in this house, and we cannot have mold. So everything is out, right down to the studs. We're actually going to even take some of these subfloors out because there was so much tile and stuff on it. You just can't get it smooth again. So we're replacing all that as well. So let's get inside and take a look. I should be masked up for this. This is tons of mold because water just came down. So all that is being removed. It was even in the drywall. It's nasty. But this fireplace, it is one beefy thing. We're going to remove it and come up with a more modernized one. That was used to, I might even had part of it to maybe heat the house. It sounds great and efficient, but they're not always that cool to look at. So we're going back to a more conventional fireplace if we can get this thing out of here. Remember I talked about moving the front door? This is going to be a home office. Front door removes, big window goes in. Front door moves right into here. We're going to take this whole wall out. So when you come in the front door, you really have a grand entry. This is a big house. So they had this little tiny entry with a long hallway. Now they have this front room, which was like a living room. Nobody uses the living rooms. We're going to make it a big grand entryway. With this wall being gone, you'll have a beautiful staircase and you'll be able to look through the house. That's what people want. They want open floor plans. When I got into the house, the homeowners kind of shared some of their problems, things that they did not like about the house. They have some really great views, but guess what? That's west, which means that huge window, which is 20-some foot tall, gets nothing but sunlight in. So even though you have these big, fantastic views, it makes no sense if you got to put curtains on them and close it up because of the west sun. So what I'm going to do in here, we're going to do a cathedral ceiling, which will bring the ceiling down. We're going to start at 12 foot and go up to like 16 in the center. And then what that does, those big high windows windows up there or will be eliminated. The windows are going to start now about where these 2x4 blocks are. They're going to be about 9 to 10 foot tall windows, not 20 foot high windows. And to help with that sun, because it's still west, right? I'm going to create a big overhang on the outside, which will help shade a big part of the day. So this will not feel like a big tunnel. A lot of people come into these homes, they want these big, super high ceilings, but it's not a comfortable room to feel in. You want to feel like you're in something that's a little bit lower. 9, 10 foot ceilings are nice, 12 at the most. This will have a nice high ceilings, but comfortable, and then it opens up all the way in here to the kitchen, which we're going to improve on, make it bigger, and give them a big pantry. That was a hot button for them. They didn't have a very big pantry before. This one will be like a secondary kitchen. I'll show you that. To give you a sense of why I do not like 6'8" doors, I'm not very tall. I'm 5'8". Here is a standard height door. It looks very small. The ceilings, as you can see where this door went, was in this opening here. So what we're going to do is put the new door is going to be at that height. That's 8 foot tall. Just that extra 1.5 feet feels so much larger than a door like this. And that's going to happen on the whole main floor because the ceiling heights are 9 foot tall, and that is going to be so much better. It doesn't even cost that much more to go with an 8 foot tall door. So tell your builder that. One more pet peeve of mine is these balconies that overlook the room down below. Again, if you lived in these kind of homes, the noise from the kitchen, it goes right upstairs into the kids' bedroom. So it sounds great, looks like a beautiful house to party in, but it lives terrible. Tell me if you live in one of those homes, if your open balcony is as noisy as I say they are. All right, guys, here is the master bedroom. And as you can see, this is what Eugenio calls a clean job site. Whatever. What I find for the homeowners, it's a struggle because one, their house just went through a tornado, and then we come in here and even destroy it even more because I call it destroyed, but really we have to demo stuff to get this house in condition for rebuilding, right? You got to set the expectations and let the people know and be sensitive because you're in their personal property. This is where they live for 10 years. And we also tell them that it's not going to get any better for a while. It's going to get worse before it gets better. So they're on the same page. They understand. But I tell my analogy, I use it a lot because I build doctors' homes. I say, there's a reason, doctors, you don't let us in the operating room. You shut the door in our face because we don't know what goes on behind those closed doors. But as a home builder, you're in our operating room. You get to see everything that we do. So be patient with us. It's the end result that you're after, and it will look awesome when it's done. And I'm going to take you guys along for the entire ride of this project. I had Eugenio working here for so long, he put a little bed in here, and he's scared of the dark, so he had a night light and everything. Only problem is there's no power. So where I'm standing is their dining room, and that was an eat-in dining room part of their kitchen. To make it feel even bigger and better, we're taking that wall and we're pushing it out about another 15 feet. What you're seeing here was their door from the garage into the house. That now is going to come into a mudroom. That gets pushed out as well, and we're giving them a laundry room that was probably 3 times the size the one they had. Remember, we're out in the country. You need big mudrooms and big laundry rooms. All right, open up the door. You can see it's quite a drop down. Another thing we're doing with this house is we're making it a barrier-free. So all that's like 4 foot down. We're going to be framing it in. It'll be a crawl space, but it'll be a 0 entry. So if a person was in a wheelchair or couldn't get up and down steps, this new house here will be what we call 0 entry, not a step from the garage into the house, from the front door in, or even into the shower. That's real important. So the house at the bottom of the hill, all the way up that hill, that's where the tornado came from. And this homeowner was standing on his porch looking, and he could start seeing the roofs of homes going up into the air. And that's when his wise 5-year-old little boy said, "Dad, I think it's time for us to go in." Sometimes it takes a kid of that age to talk some sense into us guys. So during the process of getting to where we're at 7 months is that the insurance company really wants to minimize their money that they have to put out. And the homeowner wants to make sure that they're getting a perfectly sound house. So what we did is we had engineers from both sides come through, and the big thing is the foundation is fine. Then number 2 is the structural integrity of the framing okay. So the big part was the roof, because I think it did lift at one point, but that's all trusses, And you can see it just looks like a ton of framing up there. Well, each truss has a maximum load it can support. You want to make sure none of those boards have been split, compromised, or damaged during the storm. So we had a structural engineer go through and look at every single one of those, and they are okay. And so that allows us to continue moving and keep the structural integrity of the home, which should help us speed up the process during the construction phase. All right, that's probably as good as it's going to get until we get windows. It's a little hard to see in there, but I wanted you guys to fully appreciate what I do for you guys to get into my job sites. This is nothing but mud, and my vertical jump is like a good strong 2 to 3 inches.
Back up, that's another question.
Oh, okay. And I have to get up and down out of that stuff. So I made a ramp over there. Here's a ramp. And I got my good Sunday school tennis shoes on. They're now getting muddy, but it was worth it. I hope you guys like it. And I will go through mud, rain, sleet, snow, just like the post office, to bring you guys videos. I appreciate you watching. There'll be a lot more of this coming along. Give me your comments, what you think. I always love to hear from you. I'll see you guys on the next job site.